Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, what is up? What is good? The King. What is up, people? The King of Lightning here today, bringing you guys, gals. It is that time of the year, the top 30 strongest characters in One Piece as of 2018. Yes, the juiciest time of the year. Now, first of all, I did do a stream for this, and the stream, to say the least, was kind of chaotic. I forgot a character. I had to rearrange the list entirely. I was kind of messing around half the time. I'm not gonna lie, I was messing around half the time. So that stream I put up with this video. But I want the video to be out there so there's a more streamlined version of my list. And there's a more, hopefully, coherent video for you guys to understand why these characters rank the way they are. And on top of that, I do want to give big ups to Brago D Ace, aka Brago D Late. Of course, it started all back with him last year, 2017. It was fun, and I was on a stream, I think it was last night. That was pretty fun. So, you know what? Shouts to the man, because the man has made this a trend, and I enjoy this trend very much so. Now, getting on to the list. The list is going to be... oh, yo. If you haven't seen it yet, the list is going to be fairly... I would assume some folks be like, what the hell are you doing, bro? Here's the thing, all right? I have my reasons, obviously. Like, we all have our own reasons to where we rank our characters. And, you know, for me, portrayal is a big thing, but not the majority of what I gauge characters on. I gauge the majority speaking on, like, what they do, the context of the fights, and their overall power scheme as a whole. So, for example, like I said before last year, it still applies here, because this is One Piece, not Dragon Ball. When it comes to fights, context matters greatly. But then on top of that, just because you lose to a character or you beat a character doesn't mean that you are weaker or stronger than said character. Because in One Piece, matchups do matter greatly. Of course, obviously. So we just can't say, oh, he's this power level. Woohoo! No. That's not how that works. Because again, the matchups do greatly matter. It's more of the Hunter x Hunter type of battle model, though a lot less organized. That being said, when it comes to this list, it's about how powerful they are as a whole, number one. Number two, the actual in-between fights. So, for example, if someone is ranked 29 or 28, and then someone else is ranked, let's say, 19, that doesn't mean that 19 can beat 28. It's just they're overall stronger than 28, if you catch my drift. Hopefully it makes sense, hopefully. Because, again, I'm trying to be more coherent here, but only time can tell in this video. And then, finally, what I do want to say is... I'm going to have a stream with the Tier 3 cast later in the week after Christmas when it comes to their list and, you know, what they think, and that's going to be a fun time too. But at the end of the day, I hope that you just enjoy the list, whether we agree or disagree. It is what it is. Ain't no big deal. We're just chilling, talk about One Piece. A fun time. So, and if you don't like One Piece, then why are you here? Straight up. So, that being said, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's head first in this video, One Piece top 30 strongest characters as of 2018. Now, the first one on the list is a big boy. The character has been stagnant when it comes to what he's done so far in the story. However, other characters have been introduced in the story, and we found out more things about the characters through the actual story itself, and so things have to be changed. So it is what it is. And like I said before, this is the top 30 strongest characters in One Piece, okay? This list is impressive in and of itself. So I'm not trying to diss on anybody here, but here we go. Number 30, the guard of the list. The Ward of Impel Down, Magellan. Hello. I can already hear the what? Nani? Listen, here's the thing. Magellan, he's good. All right, very powerful ability, very broken ability. The guy is powerful, no doubt about that. He does have good reaction speed, DC, and what he can destroy. Not too impressive, but at the same time, he is portrayed to be on a similar Shiryu. But that was like in the past. Shiryu has made some substantial gains. When I say the past, I'm not sure when the past exactly. But when you look at Shiryu now, he's with the Blackbeard Pirates. He's made some clear gains when it comes to ability, because he has a new ability, obviously. Whereas Magellan, he demoted himself, of course. Like, I'm not denying that. So he demoted himself. But the same token, I would say that he has, over the course of time, gone, let's say, Armor Haki and Observation Haki. That's what I would assume, because a lot of the characters that we thought had them pre-time skip, wound up having them post-time skip, according to Oda's words himself, through, let's say, the data book and SBS, stuff like that. So I would assume he does have at least Armor Haki and Kamboshan Haki, Observation Haki, to a certain extent. But to what extent, I'm not too sure, honestly. So the guy is on the list because he's just broken. predominantly so. The guy is just flat out broken. He has a very broken ability. And it's even more so, I would argue, in certain environments, like let's say a closed environment. So in a closed space, I would say he's more effective than, let's say, in an open space. Because in an open space, you can actually dodge his attacks to a much greater degree, whereas in the closed, especially if you have good mobility. But in a closed space, it may be harder to do, considering how the abilities works when it comes to like his gas type poisons. But his Venom Road is pretty good for speed when it comes to mobility, but not like too great. He's okay in that category. Strength-wise, pretty solid as well. But when it comes to his durability, when it comes to endurance, he did take a Gear 2 bazooka, and that did affect him. He fell on his knees from that, but again, not necessarily a big deal. So Magellan on the list because mainly his powers are just broken, and the guy, I think he still is on the list even though we have more and more characters coming into the fold. And yes, I know back in the day, CD Magellan, but she doesn't make too many gains. So that is number 30 on the top 30 list, Magellan the Guard. Now, number 29 is my boy Lightning God NL, aka Eneru. Now, this may throw some cats off because he lost to Luffy, pre-time skip, pre-Gears Luffy. But again, like I said before, context always matters. Always matters. So yeah, he lost to a pre-time skip, pre-Gears Luffy, which only proves that his durability and his endurance is kind of man. But the same token, for example, Crocodile lost before NL did, and yet Crocodile could be fairly successful and effective in Marineford War when he fought against guys like Don Flamingo, when he stopped Akainu, and when he even tried to attack Whitebeard and his boys could take on Pacifista, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things that are fairly wonky when it comes to the overall combat system, but understand that this dude, when Aokiji low-diffed the entire crew, mainly Sanji, Zoro, and Luffy, well, NL low-diffed the entire crew as well, with the exception of Luffy because of Luffy's ability. Luffy could fully counter NL's lightning-based abilities. Now, over the course of time, like with Magellan, for example, I would say that he has some degree of armor haki as well as, and we already know his Kenboshu haki is one of the best in the entire verse of One Piece. That is factual. His range is disgusting. He has multi-island range. When it comes to his DC, he has one of the highest DC feats in the verse, where he can obliterate an entire island. Excluding that, he has these lightning waves that are absolutely massive, that can encompass the entire top half of the giant Jack Beanstalk. It's like, bro, what the hell? This guy has insane DC in terms of what we see in the entire One Piece verse, one of the highest in that category. His speed, lightning speed in attacks, lightning speed in movement, and so on and so forth. I think that his real weakness is pretty much if you scale him to like current day characters, his durability would be seen as low. That's what I would say. But when it comes to his portrayal, he's on the moon just chilling right now. We can't say if he's done anything as of yet when it comes to like honing his skills. But again, over the course of time, it appears that all these characters that do have haki to some extent would have armor haki as well as observation haki. So, for example, let's say Boa Hancock. Or Boa Hancock, folks were doubting that she had observation haki. I never did because I assumed that she always had that because they're in Amazon Lily. And Oda confirmed that in a data book that, yes, she does have option haki. All right, fine, cool. That is a general trend when it comes to haki types in One Piece. So he probably does armor haki. To what extent, though, I'm not too sure. Is his durability up? Maybe. We're not too sure. Is his endurance? Not too sure. Probably the same, considering how fighting against guys that probably can't wound him because he's the lightning-based Logia on the moon, fighting these weird space pirate dudes. But that being said, his stats, pre-time skip, are just so high to where you just can't ignore the fact that he has done some of the best feats in the verse, even when you look at today's standards. That's just a fact. So, NL, number 29. And again, when it comes to, let's say, a fight between NL and Magellan, I'm not saying that Magellan's going to be NL or NL's going to be Magellan. I'm not saying that at all. But it's how powerful they are with respect to the world of One Piece. So that's number 29, NL. Number 28 on the list is going to be Cypher Pole Aegis Zero, Rob Lucci. Yes. Now, I can't say that current Rob Lucci is commander level yet, but he's one of the few characters in One Piece, pre-time skip, that was an actual adversary to the main character. We know from the cover stories that he's actively made gain through the cover story. He actively sought to become stronger to hone his skills. Then we know from post-time skip, he's in Cypher Pole Aegis Zero, which is an entire rank up from CP9, of course. And it's such a big rank up because The CP9 guys are assassins more so for the world government. Whereas Cypher Pol, Agent Zero, their primary task, yeah, they do these covert ops throughout the world, true, but they are also tasked with guarding the Tenryubito, the very gods of the One Piece world themselves. Now, again, quote-unquote gods, it is what it is, fine. But his mission now is far more important than it has ever been. He is guarding the Celestial Dragons. He is guarding Mary Jo's Pub. You can see in the background right there. Mary Jo's Pub is being guarded by Cypher Pol. And on top of that, we know that he's been tailing the Rev, because we see at the end of Dressrosa, he was there tracking Sabo, basically. So he's tracking Sabo, and then on top of that, if you want to use it, you don't have to, but if you want to use it, the movie, where in Film Gold, him and Sabo actually scrap. Now, that's not canon. Of course, it's not canon at all. But it's just to show you that, from a portrayal standpoint, this man has jumped considerably. This is a fact of the actual story itself. He has made significant gains when it comes to his portrayal. And also, one last thing on top of this, you can say that he has some degree of command over CP0, because we do see him kind of commanding Spandam and a few of the cats in CP0. Kaku's there, and Kaku's following Rob Lucci's orders. It's like, okay, I can't do anything for like feats, because we haven't seen the feats of post-time skip Rob Lucci, with the exception of him being able to kick away Sai and Leo. All right, fine, that's really it. But the fact of the matter is that, from a portrayal standpoint, he has catapulted himself into the upper echelon. And we know from, again, the cover stories, he's actively sought to become stronger. And he was a primary adversary of Luffy, to where Luffy lost to the guy initially, and then had to go through so much to beat the guy at the end of NA's Lobby. So I can say, from an overall combat standpoint, his skills were already top-notch. He could do so much. He had flight, he had range attacks, he had body hardening techniques, he had body morphing techniques like Kamiye, he had all the forms of zone transformation, he had the full Zoan form of the leopard, he had the hybrid form, then he could condense the hybrid form with Seimin Kiken, so he could use energy storing techniques, and there's just so much. Like, Rob Lucci is one of the most versatile characters in the entirety of One Piece pre-time skip. He's too nasty. And if he's been actively trained over the past 2 years, getting better, and he's ranked up to CP0, come on. It's too much. Rob Lucci, I can't say he's third commander level just yet, but I would say right now, he's definitely stronger than Edo. That is my take on Rob Lucci right now. He's on the top 30 list for sure. Now, number 27 on the list is Cracker, Charlotte Cracker. Cracker, I think, is self-explanatory. He's good. The main thing here is endurance. He can't handle pain that well, according to himself. So if you get a really good shot on Cracker, odds are he's pretty much done. But at the same time, he makes up for it by having a false biscuit body, which is able to actually deflect Gear 3 attacks. Then on top of that, when he does show his real body, he can just clap into existence I'm saying nigh, because we're not sure if it's actually the case or not, but an infinite number of fairly powerful biscuit bodies that can actually march through a Kong organ. So the guy is fairly versatile. He has very good armor haki, of the same tier, if not even more powerful than a Gear 4 Bowman. Probably around the same tier, to be fair, honestly, because he was able to cut through the arm of Bowman. And even current Luffy, I'm not sure where he ranks haki-wise now. We'll have to find out. Either's gotten a little bit better. I would say Cracker's still on that level when it comes to armor haki. When it comes to Combustion Haki, not too sure on that one, but I would assume he has it by default, because in the world of One Piece, you have those by default. Pretty solid strength. His DC, potency-wise, I'm pretty sure it's damn solid. So Cracker, he's there, predominantly because, number one, he is a third commander when it comes to the Big Mom Pirates. Number two, his powers in themselves are fairly good. So Charlotte Cracker, number 27 on the list. Now, number 26 on the list, Jack the Drought, or as folks have been calling him as of late, which for me has been unnecessary, but whatever, Jack the Dragdown. Now, here's the thing. Jack is powerful. I think we have to recognize that wholesale. Jack the Drought is powerful. Even though he's taken some L's, because his quote-unquote brothers, King and Queen, they diss on Jack. Him trying to save Flamingo failed. Him trying to get Raizo as a whole failed. But the fact of the matter is that he has a billion berry bounty, one of the few in the entire world who has a bounty that high. The dude was able to fight against Inuashi and Enigma Mushi for 5 days and 5 nights straight. So his stamina is absurd. This man's stamina is absolutely absurd. As far as we can tell, he's done that predominantly in human form. As far as we can tell. That's what it appears to be. He may have gone hybrid, he may have gone full mammoth during that, we're not too sure. But he scrapped with those two for 5 days and 5 nights straight. They say that they could not subdue Jack the Drow at all. And on top of that, even though Ashura Doji got a good shot on Jack, Jack got a shot back on him. So folks want to say, well, Ashura's was better because it was just, dull page spread, oh my god, shock factor. But the reality is, no, they tied off. Okay, so you got a shot on me, I got a shot on you, end of story. And then on top of that, Ashura Doji, he's scrapped with Inuarashi as if they're on par. But Jack the Drow can fight against both Inuarashi and Enigma Mushi for 5 days and 5 nights straight. They have a 12-hour rest period, and he's still fighting. Jack the Drow, he's a wild man. He's straightforward, very headstrong, but at the same time, when you look at him during Wano Kuni, and he's talking or listening to Hawkins, he appears to have a fair degree of intelligence. He's not just some brute. Jack is still on the list because the man is still impressive. That is undeniable. And I would only assume he has a hybrid form because previous Zoans that I would say are weaker than him have hybrid form. Now, if he has a hybrid form, that's going to be an issue. But again, we'll change it when that comes. That's my assumption. But his mammoth form is pretty good in itself, in all honesty. It really is fantastic. Jack the Drow, he took an L against Sengoku and Fujitora. He took an L against a sentient island, Zunisha. And then his boys diss on him. People want to say he took an L from Ashura Doji. That's not an L. They traded blows. End of story. And then Jack the Drow down Queen and King. Alright, fine. But Jack is still powerful. Recognize the man for who he is. He's damn good. Very damn good. So Jack the Drow, number 26 on the list. His portrayal taking a bit of a beating, but still good. Now, number 25 on the list. Smoothie. To my dismay, Smoothie. I don't want her on my list. I don't. But she has to be on the list by default. She's done really nothing aside from these really big, like, Getsuga Tensho waves. And now I know what her power is in an SBS. Alright, fine. But aside from that, she's done nothing. But she's a sweet commander of the second tier. Jack has had a bit of a portrayal decrease. So I put her over Jack. And that's really it. That's all I can do. If you're doing a top 30 list, and Cracker is on your list, by default, Smoothie has to be on the list. Why? Because in the Sweet Commanders, the top commander is the strongest commander. And the lowest commander, which was Snacks at one point in time, he was the weakest commander. Why? Because we know that when Snacks fought against Urouge, well, Snacks lost to Urouge. In came Cracker and he took care of business. Now, the comics of that, we're not too sure what happened exactly. The anime has their take on that, but maybe we'll get in the future, not too sure. But the end result here is that, from a rank standpoint, the higher you go in rank, the stronger you are when it comes to the Big Mom Pirates and their Sweet Commanders. She outranks Cracker. She has to be on the list if Cracker's on your list. End of story. So, to my dismay, listen, I like Smooth Thick, all right, for a very luscious reason, but I don't want her on my list. But she has to be on my list. It is what it is. So, number 25 is Smooth Thick. Now, number 24. Here we go, boys! Here we go! The MC of the story One Piece Wa, Monkey D. Luffy! Monkey D. Luffy. Now, okay, you know what? Hop right into it. 24 is Monkey D. Luffy. 23 is Don Quixote Doflamingo. Okay? I'm putting Dofi over Luffy. The reason why I'm putting Dofi over Luffy is because Luffy, from a portrayal standpoint, has had a fairly damn good increase. So last year, I did not have Luffy over Sweet Commanders or any of the commanders. I thought that he was weaker than them. But of course, the Katakuri and Luffy fight upped Luffy's strength overall, probably. Not too sure. But what we do know is that he's got an increase when it comes to his Kenbosho no Haki. And on top of that, he now has Snake Man. He has another form available to him. So he was over Cracker, even though he's not over Cracker last year. He's over Jack, and he's not over Smoothie. But I can't say over Dofi, because Dofi, to me, his versatility is one of the highest in the verse. He's actually more versatile than Rob Lucci when it comes to his overall combat scheme. It's pretty intense when he's going with Doflamingo's abilities. Furthermore, from a fight standpoint, you have to give him way more stamina and way more endurance because his organs were blasted by the Gamma Knife. Now, however you want to perceive that damage is up to you. But the fact of the matter is that he took genuine organ damage. The reason why Ace died was because of organ damage. That is said in story. He suffered massive organ damage via the Gamma Knife. Long after he had died, Flamingo's able to use his strings to do patchwork to keep himself alive, to keep himself functional during the fight. That is a fact. That's what actually happened. So, from the standpoint of stamina and endurance, you have to increase that by default because of his condition during that fight. I know folks want to make the parallel of Luffy and him getting the beatdown by Bellamy. I don't know how you could. From a portrayal standpoint, it was just a beatdown. That was really it. It was a beatdown. The beatdown came not even close to the damage of the Gamma Knife. During the course of Luffy and Flamingo's fight, Luffy wasn't reeling or, kind of dizzy because, oh my god, Bellamy's beatdown was so hard, I'm losing stamina. No, but Flamingo was actually feeling his stomach, like, checking the patchwork throughout the entire fight between him and Luffy. Even though from a portrayal standpoint, Luffy's gotten better. And here's the thing, in Wano Kuni, potentially speaking, we're seeing Luffy use Gear 3 without using air, without blowing air into his thumb, like he normally does. So if Luffy can use Gear 3, without blowing air into his body, that's a big improvement on his Gear 3. His Gear 2 has potentially upped in some way, shape, or form. His Kambosha gets clearly upped. When he closes his eyes, he can sense the intent of what someone plans on doing, therefore giving him a bit of precognition now. Okay, that's good. If it's a fight thing, can Luffy beat Doflamingo without using Gear 4? Your answer is going to depend on where you rank Luffy, ultimately speaking. Because I don't think current Luffy can beat Doflamingo without a Gear 4. He would need Bound Man, or he would need Snake Man, or Tank Man's whatever. But the problem with Gear 4 is still that big problem. In Gear 4, Luffy has a massive stamina issue. If he can't get the job done in Gear 4, Luffy has a problem. Because then afterwards, for 10 minutes, he can't use Haki. And that is a large proponent of his abilities. If Luffy could, let's say, not lose Haki for 10 minutes after Gear 4, or sustain Gear 4 for longer, let's say, for example, or go in and out of the gears, so he can go between Bound Man and Snake Man and Tank Man without needing to power down again, then it's over. But I would say, and I'm putting a star over Dofi too, because for me, in a fight between these two, it's either or right now. Dofi can beat Luffy, or Luffy can beat Dofi, depending on how you perceive current Luffy, and on top of that, how you think the effect of the Gamma Knife was on Dofi. So it depends on all these factors. And then folks also want to say that, well, the Birdcage also played a role in that as well when it came to his stamina. Potentially speaking, possibly. I'm not too sure. The Birdcage could have also been a major stamina requirement on Dofi's part as well. Maybe. But at the end of the day, Dofi has phenomenal assets. His speed is very, very good. Not as good as, let's say, Gear 4 Bound Man, or Snake Man for that matter, but his speed is damn good. His range is phenomenal. He can attack between islands. From Greenbit to Dressrosa, his overheat can go from Greenbit to Dressrosa throughout the entirety of the Long Bridge in like a few seconds. That's insane. On top of that, he has Flight. He has Awakening. He has Armor Haki and Compulsion Haki. His strings can cut through meteorites. He can make entire clones of himself via strings. He can use patchwork on his body to, even if he takes massive organ damage, he can use that to stitch him up. So again, like there's so many different things you have to take into account here. So for example, if let's say Luffy used the King Kong gun off the rip against Dofi, and we have a fresh Dofi, I can see taking that attack, being severely wounded, but then at the same time using the patchwork to keep himself active in said fight. So outside of the fight, he has so many assets that are available to him against other opponents, which is why I had to put him ultimately over Cracker and Smoothie and Jack even, because Dofi is a phenomenally versatile character. Whereas Luffy is fairly versatile, but still has this major issue of, well, my best state against these guys, so Dofi and up. Whoever is as strong as Dofi and higher Luffy has to use a Gear 4. Unless you think that Luffy can beat them without using Gear 4, which I don't see happening. I don't see a Gear 2 Luffy or a Gear 3 Luffy beating Doflamingo. Currently, I do not. Not at all. So, if that's the issue, then once again, he can only be in there for like what? Like, let's say 40 minutes, 30 minutes, around there per Gear 4 transformation, and then he powers up for 10 minutes? That's a problem. That's still a big problem. So, once Luffy can overcome this problem in any way, shape, or form, or he attains Awakening, or we see his Gear 3 and Gear 2 advance to a point where he can beat someone like Flamingo, I'm going to say at the end of the day, Flamingo is probably overall stronger than Luffy. And I'm pretty sure this is going to change next year, because we'll see more of Wano Kuni and this should be more stuff for Luffy. But until then, Dofi, for me, has risen from last year by quite a bit, as has Luffy. But I can't put Luffy over Dofi yet, even though I can see Luffy beating Dofi, and I can see Dofi beating Luffy. It depends on how you see the story, in all honesty. Portrayal, yes, has gone up for Luffy considerably so, but Luffy was lower than Dofi last year, I think by quite a few positions. And then on top of that, most of the portrayal hype has been Morgan's wank. Like, let's be real with that. Morgan's, with his goddamn wings, wanked off Luffy and made him now the 5th Yonko, which, take it as you would, but wank is wank. It is what it is. Context always matters. But in a fight against Jack, I was kind of iffy on it, but honestly, I would say yes. I think Luffy, if I could beat Jack, I think he's more overall powerful than Jack. Smoothie, I have no idea where she stands. It's just like, she has to be there by default. And Cracker could potentially still beat Luffy, because Cracker has an ability that plays on Luffy's stamina. Because we know, again, how you see the Gear 3, like, can a current Gear 3 break through a Cracker Biscuit body? It's up in the air. It's up in the air. But I can still see Cracker beating Luffy as well. Jack, I think, is less of a case because Jack is just bare bones, in your face, that simple. So on that note, I'm putting a star next to Luffy. I'm putting a star next to Dofi. And then after Dofi, the next on the list, number 22, is going to be Queen, the Plague. Basically speaking, Queen is there because I rank the Beast Pirates as a whole superior combat-wise. The Commanders and up, I rank them superior than the Big Mom Pirates. I can say that Dofi is overall stronger than someone like Smoothie or someone like Cracker or Jack. Mainly Cracker and Jack. Smoothie, again, is still kind of like a rogue thing going on there. But with Queen, not too sure. It's very iffy. It's very iffy. So I don't see Queen or King being defeated in one-on-one fights. I really don't. But that could be the case. So until then, Queen I'm going to leave right now as 22, because I can't say if Dofi could beat Queen just yet. The same goes for Luffy. But again, because I rank the Beast Pirates overall greater than the Big Mom Pirates, then the same thing applies to their subordinates. So I'm putting Queen over Cracker as well as Smoothie. Potentially Queen has a higher bounty than Jack, so he's 1 billion plus at the bare minimum. That's my assumption, of course. He could be lower bounty-wise, but yet still have a higher rank for whatever reason. Again, not too sure. So that's mainly from a portrayal standpoint of the overall Beast Pirate crew. So Queen will probably change either next year or 2020. You have to wait and see. So Queen, again, that's a star on Queen too. So those two get stars. Queen gets a star, Dofi gets a star, as well as Luffy. Now, number 21 on the list is going to be Lucky Roo. Lucky Roo, a bit of an oddball. Why is he there? Mainly because of what Oda said. Oda said that Lucky Roo fills in a combatant role in the Red Air Pirates like Zoro does. Because in the Straw Hat Pirate crew, there is no vice captain yet. That person, of course, will be Usopp. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's going to be Usopp. The moment the Marines see Usopp leading like an army of giants, it's over. That's what Big Mom wanted. And of course, it's pure headcanon, obviously. But I digress. This dude is the same role as Zoro in the crew. He's under Ben Beckman. So my sense on Lucky Roo is that he's probably stronger than Yasopp or the other cats we've seen, but not stronger than Ben Beckman because Ben Beckman outranks him. That's my take on that until we see more. And as a whole, the reason why he's over, let's say, Queen is because I rank the Red Air Pirates superior than the Beast Pirates and the Big Mom Pirates. Again, It's how you perceive really the Yonko that kind of, breaks down the rest of the list. So on that note, Lucky Roux, so he would be like the substitute for the second, I suppose, the second division commander, if you would. Van Beckman's first division, Lucky Roux potentially second division, like the parallels. And then Yasob, potentially third division. Now, that's something that I never thought of before, honestly. Yasob being the third commander individual person of the Red Dead Pirates. Again, like, they don't go by commanders like that. They're more like the Strap Pirates, which is cool. But at the same time, him being the sniper, like that role, I'm not too sure where to really gauge him. Because he'd be like the parallel of, not necessarily Usopp, but like Von Olga of, like, let's say the Blackbeard Pirates. And where do you rank Von Olga among the Blackbeard Pirates? It's kind of wonky. It really is. So I can't say for sure that Yasob would be third division. Otherwise, if he was, then he'd be over Jack as well as Cracker. He'd be over here around like 25, 26. That's what Yasob. But again, Yasob I think is more of an issue when it comes to ranking compared to Lucky Roux, where Lucky Roux, he's more like Zoro. Okay, cool. So now we can kind of gauge him better than someone like Yasob. That is number 21, Lucky Roux. And now number 20 is going to be Monkey D. Garp, the hero, Monkey D. Garp. Now, this is where things may also get controversial as well, but I have the old trio, so Sengoku, Rayleigh, and Garp together, if you would. He's gone a portrayal increase of sorts. And I say of sorts because even though it's a portrayal increase, I'm not too sure what that even means at all when it comes to him and the Rocks Pirates. They said that he played a role in the downfall of the Rocks Pirates. Okay? Like, what does that mean? Was he a frontline guy taking out dudes? Was he getting intel on the Rocks Pirates? Was the Rocks Pirates captain a beast, or was he not that powerful? His crewmates are powerful, like a young Kaido, a young Big Mom, a young Whitebeard. That's crazy. But again, the context of that is so vague, I'm not too sure to put him just yet among the old trio, aside from the bottom. Because, as I said before, the rest of Garp's kit, if you would, is very linear. I wouldn't say lackluster, but it's very streamlined. Raw power, raw strength, armored hockey. All right, cool. That's fine and all. But at the same token, you have a guy like Rayleigh, who's number 19, and Rayleigh has damn near everything. Swordsmanship, arm hockey up the wazoo, Kenbosho, observation hockey up the wazoo. Up the wazoo with that thing. It's a goddamn Conqueror's hockey to where if he was there on Fisherman Island, him and Shanks, that's what Oda said. Him and Shanks would have knocked out all the fishermen. It's like, come on. Like, his Kakaki is that good. Fought against Kizaru, like, one-on-one for a period of time. Like, he did tag Marco. Okay, yeah, fine, that's cool. Like, that's, from a speed standpoint, could be fairly impressive. But he fought against Kizaru, one of the only few characters to be able to perceive the speed of light in one piece because of his good, very good observation hockey. Can Garp necessarily do that? Maybe? But at the same time, we're not too... Maybe he can, maybe he can't. I don't know. But we know that he is very, very good raw strength. All right, cool. Range attacks with attacks we see in Shimono Archipelago as well with the sword. Rayleigh just has it all, really. Great stamina and great endurance where he can swim across an entire combat to get to where Luffy is. It's like, bro. It's like, okay. Like, this guy has a lot going for him. He really, really does. Garp is impressive. And then, of course, him being a Monkey D is also a portrayal up as well. But I can't say for sure that he is above Rayleigh. Last year, for me, it was definitive that he was not above Rayleigh at all. At all. But this year, he's gotten to the point where I think he's almost above Rayleigh. But I can't say that yet. I need to see the context of the Rocks Pirate. Or I need to see more stuff from Garp in general. Just in general. Give me some more stuff. So, until then, Garp, I'm going to put as the weakest of the old man trio at number 20. Rayleigh's number 19. And the strongest of the trio, I would say, is Sengoku. Sengoku's good. But the main thing here is, ultimately speaking, he has a Devil Fruit power, which I think is fairly powerful. Like, fairly powerful. I think his Devil Fruit is kind of unique in the standpoint of he's one of the few that is a deity-based mythical Zoan, which You may say it's not necessarily a big deal, but I think it's actually a fairly big deal because his powers will still be, because, for example, things like strength and speed, these things, and durability and stamina, these things will fade over time when you get older, obviously. And it applies to most of the characters in One Piece that reach a certain age. Once you're like 60 years old in One Piece, you kind of like power down. But with Sengoku, as far as I can tell, because it's Death Root power, like Death Root powers, as far as you know, don't power down because of time. Meaning, like, if you're old, your Death Root power is not like gonna power down. Like, you're still gonna do some crazy stuff. Your stamina may lower, but at the end of the day, you're still rocking some intense stuff. Like, i.e. Whitebeard, where Whitebeard, like, if he wanted to, he could destroy the entire Ford, like, the moment he hopped in. But he didn't because, well, Ace was there. And when he did start taking off the cuffs, it was like, bro, oh my god. So with Sengoku, at the end of the day, his overall combat skills are probably going to wane much slower than guys like Garp and Rayleigh because he has the Death Root power, where the other two do not. And that's my stance, predominantly so on that. I'm not saying that Garp is weak at all. And I think Garp is almost over Rayleigh, but I only see a lot more from Garp to put him over Sengoku, honestly. From a portrayal standpoint, I think Garp is the best, honestly. I think he is the best among the three when it comes to portrayal, without a shadow of a doubt, obviously. But portrayal is not what I lean by the most. So, on that note, moving on from number 18 with Sengoku to number 17, who is CDU of the Rain. Now, I am not saying that CDU of the Rain can beat Sengoku, Rayleigh, or Garp in a fight. No, I'm not saying that. But CDU of the Rain, I think, has made enough substantial gains over the course of this time skip to where I would put him over those three from an overall combat standpoint. CDU of the Rain last year was underneath these guys. Now he's above them. At least as far as I recall. He was underneath them and now he's above them. CDU of the Rain has the invisibility fruit. Potentially, the power itself is kind of negated by, let's say, the innate power of Kambotional Observation Haki. But if it's something more than that, where, okay, he can erase his presence entirely, maybe his entire existence for a period of time, it's like, bro, that's pretty powerful. Now, again, that's my assumption on him. But at the end of the day, he has made gains. The entire Blackbeard Pirate crew has made substantial gains, power-wise and portrayal-wise, clearly. CDU of the Rain is the guy I've always thought to be, aside from Aokiji, Kuzan, he's the guy I thought who was the second strongest of the Blackbeard Pirates. Because, again, he was supposed to be on Magellan's tier in the past, way back when. And now, he's only made substantial gains, clearly. So last year, CDU, no. Not above Garp and company. But now, yes. Now, the next person on the list, number 16, Sabo, second in command of the Revolutionary Army. Sabo has made some ups. He has made some big ups on my list compared to last year. And the main thing here for Sabo is more time has passed, so more time he becomes more adjusted to his power, number one. Number two, we now know that Sabo, Karasu, and Lindbergh have been scrapping with Fujitora and Ryokyugyu, Green Bull. So, the question here is this. I'm assuming the main guy is Sabo for that, but is he? It could be Karasu. It could be Lindbergh. Maybe Lindbergh is that nasty. If he is, he's on my list next year, without question. Without question on my list. But until then, because we know what Sabo can do, and we see how he's able to take care of Burgess, and in Dressrosa we saw him and Fujitora scrap. Well, Sabo making some more gains. Especially when he's doing this at Melly Joe Pub. He's causing chaos at the pub. Sabo has leveled up, boys. He's leveled up. Goddamn. So, Sabo, all right, like Monkey D. Sabo, might as well. Monkey D. Sabo on this list, most definitely. I think he is stronger than CDU of the Rain. I think he's like in the middle tier of the right-hand men. Because the right-hand men of the Yonko, I put them overall superior than the old guard, the old trio. That's my stance on that until further notice. But most definitely, I think Sabo's like in the middle of that, where Sabo, like, he's very good. He's definitely made a lot of progress. And on top of already knowing that his powers previously were just beastly, it's like, Sabo has a long way to go. His bounty is too small. His bounty should be at least in the billions. At least. His bounty is way too small. All right, so that's Sabo right there, number 16. Number 15, Marco the Phoenix. Fukucho, Marco. Now, Marco the Phoenix, he's a beast. Like, everyone knows this. But from a portrayal standpoint, he's got an increase, like a big one from Oda himself. I would say a big one from Oda himself. And it's the reason why Sabo's not over Marco. I was going to put Sabo over Marco. I really was. And then Oda kind of dropped some intel in data book number 4, Vivcard book number 4, where apparently, I think it was 4, where apparently Marco, when it's not applied to himself, when it's not applied to other people, apparently the dude can actually regen infinitely. And I'm sitting here like, wait, what? Now, in the grand scheme of things, Marco can still be hurt. Yes, that's true. So for Marco, his power is kind of important in the sense of how fast can he recover from wounds. And considering the Yasakai no Magatama that Kizaru did against Marco, and how he was almost instantly recovering from wounds, it's like, dude, Jesus. Like, as long as he has stamina, potentially Marco can infinitely recover. So if Marco's stamina is really, really high, if he can fight for days on end, he can recover infinitely for that period of time. Like, that's nutty. So the only way you can stop Marco, who's already fairly fast and fairly strong, the only way you can stop him is through ceiling-based maneuvers. Really. That's really it. That's wild. Like, hold on, like seriously, like, that's kind of insane. Like, honestly, like Marco, that's not fair. That's not really fair. But at the same time, again, like he can still be wounded. Just gotta do it fast enough to where he can't regen. How fast is that? Goddamn, Marco is good. Marco's clean. So I was gonna put Sabo over Marco, but no, Marco stays where he is at number 15. Marco, I think, is just too good right now. And of course, Marco being able to heal other people with his powers is also a plus as well when it comes to his ability. So Marco is number 15 on this list. Number 14 on the list. Oh, hello, people. Say it with me. Say it with me now. Charlotte Charles Barkley Katakuri. Charlotte Charles Barkley Katakuri. Now, already. But Luffy listen. Context matters. And it matters greatly. It always has. It always will. And in this case, the context does matter greatly. Because as far as I can tell, when it comes to Katakuri and Luffy, right? Luffy ran away at some point. He came back, but still ran away. Luffy was bested on several occasions. And even towards the end of that, had to ask permission to transform to go into Snake Man. And even still after the fight, Katakuri's on his back just chilling. Like, yeah, you know. Like, of course he's huffing and puffing and bloody. Yeah, of course. But talking to Sis Brule, completely conscious, like, yo, Brule's like, Katakuri, did you fall back on purpose? He's like, I'm like, wait, what? Out of all the adversaries of Luffy, he's the only one like this. Like, you could say maybe Don Krieg, but Don Krieg was still, like, he was unconscious. NL was out for like several hours, and then at night he gets up and goes to Fairyverse. That's it. Katakuri is very unique from that standpoint adversary for Luffy, number one. Number two, the context of the fight actually matters a lot in this case. Tremendously so. Number three, the reason why Katakuri is defeated is more so because of Katakuri and not because of Luffy, in all honesty. And the next thing, Katakuri, by far and away, is the most versatile character in the entirety of One Piece when it comes to his combat repertoire. This is just, it's just fact. It's just, the only character that comes close is Doflamingo, because he has flight and that kind of stuff. He has no flight, but he has pretty much everything else. And mind you, like, I'm not joking. I'm not trolling at all. He has, let's go down the list. He can use weapons, spear, check. He's a marksman, check. He has awakening, check. He has Kamboshin Haki up the wazoo, the future, baby, check. Armor Haki up the wazoo, check. Come on, bro. Different by in of itself, check. Conqueror's Haki, check. Bro, he is the most versatile combatant in the entirety of One Piece by far and away, with, again, the exception of Don Flamingo, who's close to his level, but not there yet. He has too many things going for him. When you think of the Katakuri checkbox, it's large. It's very large. He has range attacks with attacks like Grill Mochi, check. Taylor the Jelly Beans, he doesn't need him. In the anime, he makes a freaking Mochi Gatling gun. Check. Just check that one. It's like, come on. There's too much. There's too much there for Katakuri. That's just, I'm sorry. Like, and on top of that, for example, if let's say you fought a character like Marco, and Marco can regen infinitely, well, he can potentially seal someone like Marco in a mountain of mochi, like he did to Luffy. I don't see Marco eating through all that because Marco's not like a mega freak like Luffy, who has like 19 stomachs. He's kind of normal actually, where Luffy can just kind of eat through all this kind of stuff. He can go in between mochi that's hard and mochi that's sticky to subdue your movements. I mean, there's too much. Like, literally, Katakuri has every checkbox filled except for flight. Come on, bro. Katakuri is up here for a goddamn good reason. And yes, Luffy got the W, but that W comes to like 15 and a half stars. It does. Because at the end of the day, he is still Charles Barkley Katakuri. He is still the backbone of the Big Mom Pirates. All right, he's still that dude. That dude. All right, so enough Katakuri wank. All right, let me stop that because my hands are dirty. So let me go on to the next character here. The next character on the list, number 13, King the Wildfire. Now, very simple. Until we see King actually in combat, the way I see it is, again, the Beast Pirates, their commanders up, are superior than the Big Mom Pirates commanders up. So, Jack over Cracker, in a general sense. Queen over Smoothie, in a general sense. Well, the same applies to King. So, King over Katakuri, in a general sense, until we see more of what King can do. It really is that simple. At the end of Wano Kuni, King could be weaker than Katakuri. Keep that in mind. Keep that well in mind. So we have to wait and see how that rolls. But right now, number 13 on the list is King. Now, it should get more streamlined now. Number 12 on the list is Ben Beckman. Why? Because I view the Red Pirates as a whole over the Beast Pirates as a whole. They're more like the Strat Crew, where they have these fighters, these few fighters that are very, very powerful. They're not as organized or as deep as the Big Mom Pirates, by no measure, but they don't need to be. Because they have guys like this, Ben Beckman, where Kizaru, we all know, Ben Beckman, we all know. Ben Beckman over King until further notice. Number 11, here we go, Green Bull. Green Bull has 0 feats. He's number 11. Why? Because his portrayal is Admiral. He's an Admiral of the world of One Piece. By default, he has to be very powerful in the Admiral sphere, which I put over the right-hand man sphere until further notice. He is an Admiral. He's at the low end of the Admiral until we see him actually do something. So number 11 is Green Bull. Number 10, Fujitora. Last year, he was above number 9, Kizaru, but this year I flipped it around. And the reason is simple. I thought predominantly so Fujitora had better DC than Kizaru, but I rewatched Marineford, and there was a scene I forgot about entirely. So if you go back to Marineford, when the submarine has Luffy in it, and they're plunging down into the depths of the ocean, Aokiji does the Ice Age attack, and he tries to freeze the entire area over to try and kill Luffy and company. The Ice Age is the same technique where he makes the ice very, very thick. The same thing we see Jozu lift and hurl, the ice is at least that thick. That is thick ice. With 2 C's, thick. But with one very intense Yasakai no Magatama, this dude was able to break that entire sheet in one barrage attack. That's insane. Go back and rewatch it. You'll see. Or read it, you'll see. Ice Age, very thick ice. At least that thick what Diamond Jozu through. And mind you, for miles. for miles. This dude broke that whole thing up in an instant with one attack. That's hauntingly good DC. And on top of that, portrayal-wise, you can make the argument that the previous Admirals as a whole are superior than the current Admirals. I can't see the argument. I can't see it, honestly. But we have to see what Greenbow can do. But if you do make the argument, I can see why you make the argument. So, overall, Kizaru, I think, is going to be over Fujitora until further notice. Now, number 8, the thumbnail of this glorious video. Dracula Mihawk, the world's strongest swordsman. Now, he's gotten some portrayal buffs, potentially speaking, but I think it's just that. Because, honestly, my stance has not changed at all. Even after Oda gave us the intel on Mihawk, when it's like, okay, well, yeah, but Mihawk, you know, he's waiting for somebody stronger than Shanks to appear so he can beat them. That was years ago, and I would assume Shanks over time, because most characters over time tend to get stronger unless you're like 60 plus. So if you want to say that Shanks is the same strength as he is now than he was back then, all right, fine, that's up to you. I would say no. I would say, like, for Ai, for example, the Sea King, I don't see ever eating his arm again. Ever. But, hey, it is what it is there. He put a bet on the next generation. So folks say, well, that was done on purpose. See it as you would. But Mihawk himself admits that he is a distance from a guy like Whitebeard. And Whitebeard's peers are guys like Big Mom, Shanks, as well as Kaido. All right? So he himself acknowledges that he's not on that kind of sphere just yet. Even though Shanks in the past, even back during Luffy's time, was a Yonko, that doesn't mean that he can't get any stronger, as said Yonko. I think he can. Blackbeard's a Yonko currently. I'm pretty sure a lot of folks anticipate a stronger Blackbeard in the next few arcs. Either he's a Yonko, he can still get stronger as a Yonko, obviously. Without question. Furthermore, of course, when it comes to the fighting style itself, he is the world's strongest swordsman. He is the most proficient at the sword. Congratulations. But there are other attributes when it comes to fighting other than swordsmanship. How is your speed? How is his Cambodian hockey? How is his armor hockey? How is his conqueror's hockey, if that even matters in the future when it comes to one-on fights? Whatever the way to see. How is his physical strength compared to Shanks? Maybe, Mihawk can actually do crazy sword stuff, but Shanks can just overpower him. I mean, Shanks and Whitebeard clashed and they tied. So we have to wait and see. So I can understand the argument for Mihawk being on Yonko level and being around Shanks level, but at the same time, the argument I think is nowhere near sufficient enough to say that he's on Shanks level or even at Yonko level. I think he's in the gap between the two. Again, he himself admits that, I want to see how far I am from Whitebeard. And Whitebeard's peers are not Mihawk. All right, so on that note, let's move on with Mihawk to number 7, which has not changed last year. Monkey D. Dragon. Hey. Now listen. I like Dragon, okay? He's on this list at number 7 for portrayal and portrayal alone. Like, understand that. Maybe he did the wind cannon thing in the Goa Kingdom with the Junkyard area. Maybe. Maybe he trained Sabo with the Ryusoken and he himself knows the Ryusoken technique. Maybe. Alright, fine. Maybe he's the one that created the lightning bolt to save Luffy in Locktown. Maybe. I don't know. But that one I'm iffy on, honestly. I really am. But hell, I'll give it to him. He's still number 7. He's still number 7. I remember when news had spread that Baltigo was in trouble because of Zehahaha. And folks saying, nah, man, like, you don't understand. Like, Blackbeard, he has his eyes ripped out. His arm is missing. He's missing a leg. Yada, 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 yada. And then we find out that they retreated to Kamabaka. And folks will say, nah, man. But listen, man. I'm telling you, man. Blackbeard lost an eye. And then he lost 3 fingers. Whatever. And then we see Blackbeard. He couldn't be any cleaner. His beard is silky smooth. Both eyes. Both hands. Both arms, both legs. Guts still on point. Still on point. Missing teeth, still check. Biddies all around. Man is looking clean to me. Team Dragon was making a lot of claims about, Dragon and Blackbeard and how they fought and how, Blackbeard's, he's on death's door. Well. It looks like somebody's a bit too peen for Team Dragon. But listen, I like Dragon. He's on the list. He's on the list because of portrayal. And I think Imu is his main guy. I want to say Akainu, but I think Akainu's better served as like the final villain, honestly. But if it's someone like Imu, I can see that honestly happening too. It depends. So I'll say Imu's his main dude because he wants to target the Celestial Dragon specifically. That's his end goal, the Celestial Dragon. And Imu is the head of that. Imu and him having like their final clash, I think would be really cool to see if that actually is the case. And Dragon, I would say power-wise, if he's a Logia, like that's good. Like, don't get me wrong. But there are still like mega uber freaks like Big Mom, like Kaido, you know, like Blackbeard, and so on and so forth. So on that note, yeah, Dragon is number 7. I think that's fair. I think that's very fair, considering how, again, that's from portrayal and portrayal mainly. So number 6 is, here we go, Aokiji, the Pheasant. And then number 5 is Akainu. Now, you guys know last year, I put Aokiji over Akainu, okay? And I would still stand by that. But in the data book number 2, Ichiro Oda loves Akainu. Hard wank. And Akainu apparently has one of the best DCs, one of the best destructive capabilities in the verse. So up there with NL and Whitebeard and those cats. Like, bro, what? So he's making power claims. I don't like him because I don't like leaving my data books because the data books. I figure if it's not in the story, then it's probably a bit lazy, honestly. But at the end of the damn day, to my dismay, I have to do it though. There's too much wank on Akainu. And even though Aoki still has way more AoE, like stupidly way more AoE, without question more AoE, he can affect the world around him in a much, much greater degree, at a much faster rate. It's stupid. But the wank is strong, all right? Oda's hands are covered with magma goo. So, Akainu is now over Aokiji, the Blue Pheasant. And finally, of course, top 4. Number 4 is Blackbeard. Number 3 is Big Mom. Number 2 is, of course, the undefeated of the East, Yonko Kaido. And number 1 is, of course, the God King of One Piece, Shanks himself. Now, portrayal-wise, Shanks has had buffs, okay? The big one being he can talk to the freaking Gorosei. I was like, what? He can talk. Like, they're willing to talk to him. They talk to Shanks. It was like, come on. I was like, nah. Immediate buff in portrayal. Immediate, huge buff. Like, goddamn. But Kaido still, one-on-one. In a fight, he won't be bested. But he still took L's. But were those L's on purpose? I don't know. I would assume so given his character, but at the same time, we have no idea still. And he took L's by admirals even. So it's like, okay, all right. So it's give or take. It's how you see it, in all honesty. Again, for me, Shanks is still the God King of the verse. And at the end of the damn day, I think Kaido and Shanks are interchangeable, but I'm still leaning more toward Shanks. I think Shanks has the better portrayal as of this moment. Though the Thunder Bagua, that one shot, that speed blitz, that's something juicy. That is something crazy juicy. But on that note, I still say Shanks over Kaido for the time being. Now, Big Mom being over Blackbeard, I still say that until, honestly, I said last year and I say this year too, until Blackbeard has the confidence to beat Shanks, I don't see him being over Big Mom. I really don't. Big Mom, I think it's just still too powerful. Though, she has lost Zeus, which I think is a big loss. And we're not too sure if she has anything else to substitute for Zeus at all. But at the end of the damn day, I think it's still too early for Blackbeard to be over any Yonko until he himself is actually ready to be on said level. I think he's almost over Big Mom, but not quite there yet. I think Big Mom is still over him by a few margins. And Big Mom has yet to show what she can truly do, considering how when we saw her, she was in a weakened state. Yeah, Big Mom, I think, still stays there until further notice. So, on that note, guys and gals, that's it. I am done. That is my top 30 strongest characters list as of 2018. Let me know what your lists are as a whole when it comes to how you see the characters and how strong they are right now in One Piece. My list, I think, is pretty damn clean. I think it's very clean, peen. And, of course, next year things will be different. Characters will be taken out of the list. Characters will be put back into the list. Characters will be switched around and so on and so forth. But until then, my list is peen. My list is clean. So I'm going to catch you guys and gals later. Be sure to rate the video. It is not that hard to do. I guarantee you that, because I know that you all have a device called Zamaosu. You use Zamaosu to click, rate the video, to click, subscribe, to click on that bell to join the squad. And of course, as always, comment. Please do. Feel free to comment. Let me know what your lists are. Comment in the comment section down below. There'll be a stream later on in the week after Christmas with the tier 3 cats for their own list. And on top of that, once again, big ups to Brago D Ace, aka Brago D Late. Peace. And have a nice goddamn day.